I don't know what it is. This this light always makes my hair look super weird. But anyways, today we're gonna be going over the L series lens that I got going on this Canon 1DX Mark II, and it's a 24 to 105 millimeter lens, L series f4. First off, first impressions is this lens is stupid big. So if you're trying to make your whole photography or videography setup nice and light, this is not the lens for you. Just because it's stupid heavy. It's probably like, it feels like it's 5 pounds in your hand, and that's not something that you should take lightly in any means, in any shoot or anything. If you're trying to go for really cool range and awesome bokeh and depth of field, this is definitely the one for you. It has some awesome depth of field capabilities. It's an f4. It's not the f2.8, which is kind of a bummer, but that one is just way above my. It's way above how much I wanted to pay for it. But it's still an awesome lens. I love it so much. The Canon 1DX Mark II. The availability to do ISO for can crank that ISO super high. Also the availability to do 14 frames a second, which is awesome, in high frame rates, which is great, just in case I need to get something really quickly, or if my subjects are laughing and I want to capture that. That's how you would do it. In terms of videography, I'm not sure. I'm trying to look at my monitor now. It's not super blurry now, but like let's see if I can step up in here. So like if I do that, yeah, it's not much blurry, but majority of the time, the closer to zoom, the more zoomed in you are, the blurry the background will be, which gives you a better depth of field and probably a little more clarity in the actual picture is what you want. So because it just gives a better presentation to whomever you may be going through. And I know a lot of people are like, well, dude, should I get this camera? I mean, this camera is awesome. What should I do? And my suggestion is, well, if the camera if you're working on, if it's a great camera and the quality you're getting, well then, sure, you're gonna get better quality, but I mean, maybe not much more, especially for the price. But I would say if you can afford a camera like this one, then get it for sure. Another good incentive to buy a new camera is if you're gonna be making money off that camera from here until maybe about a year, would be a good time, because you can drop that on a credit card. I know a lot of people be like, but that's what I did. I dropped it on a credit card, and then I'm paying it monthly, so that way I don't have to pay it all up front, which is kind of sucky. But I'm going to be paying it off in like 6 months. But if you can do that, that's what I'd recommend, because this camera is amazing for photography and videography. 20 megapixel picture, for video, 4K 60 frames, 1080 to 120 frames, stellar. The price at these now is actually dropped from $6,000 to about $5,700, only $300. But hey, $300 you can buy a new lens and do kind of whatever you need to do with it. It's an awesome camera for business and professional use, especially if you're doing weddings or a professional type video for a client. You can offer 4K and 1080 in that type of price points, and really upsell those things, because one, it's hard to really find a solid 4K camera that just looks good. I'm sure there's a lot of 4K cameras, whether it be Sony or even Canon. They have the 5D Mark IV. Like, that 4K is not true 4K, and it doesn't look very good to me. Like, I've seen it on many cameras. I'm like, I would not want that as a video for my client or for my company if that were me. So that's kind of how I think. Like, would I want this video shooting on something like Facebook or social media, or even in my business vicinity, playing on a video on loop? I mean, the different things like that you have to be thinking about when it comes to how you want your video and your reputation being put out there. You know what I mean? And so having that kind of camera and investing in those types of things are good investments, but only if they're going to pay back soon rather than later, because you can invest in a whole lot of gear, but if it's not being used, then it's kind of a waste. But it's always a great point if you want to start something, and then eventually work up to it, like I have. I started with the Canon 80D. I got a lot of jobs with that. I was doing businesses, nonprofits, doing their own videography with that. And it was awesome. It was awesome. And so I finally came to a conclusion that if I want to start doing more weddings, because weddings there's a lot of good money in it, but you got to know how to do it and do it right. You can really make it something really cool, and then you can offer them 4K or 1080. And then also investing in the right glass and the right cases and drones and all that kind of cool stuff. Also with the CFast card, I'm actually sitting on a 258. I forgot what I said in the last video, but this one's insane, man. And so I'm kind of upset about the CFast cards because it's like every 4 minutes it's like 60 gigabytes. I'm like, oh no, I can't. That's just so much memory that it's hard for me to really get behind and be in favor of it. And I wish it wasn't like that, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. But that's kind of my own wisdom on that. I have a job coming up this next year. I'm going to be getting more jobs with businesses and using this camera and offering 4K. And even if they push out 1080p, you can condense this into a 4K file or a 1080 file, and it's just going to look far more clear and a lot more crispy. In terms of like edges, people's edges and their face, it's going to look a lot more clear than just a regular 1080. That's what I've seen. It's not anything that I've heard. It's things that I've actually seen, and which bases my opinion, because I've heard many people say that on YouTube. Oh, it's crispy. It's this. It's that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me, because as long as I can see it in 1080, but it was compressed from 4K. Oh, dude, I'm solid. Even if I'm shooting 4K but compressed to 1080, like it's fine. It's fine, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna look far more better, and it's going to be a lot better for everybody. So the next video that I'm going to be pushing out is a kind of a room video. I know a lot of people on YouTube do that, but I don't think my room is just ready right now. But what I will be doing is like a Star Wars kind of thing. Really big into Star Wars. I love it. But I have like movie posters, death statues, but anyways, just pushing all those out and kind of giving you a layout. Let me know if you're excited for the new Star Wars movie coming out. I think it's December 15th or something. Let me know. I have my own opinions on the seventh one. I love Rogue One, but my seventh one. Let me know if you want to hear my opinions about the seventh one. I am an avid Star Wars fan, so my opinion is going to be righteous. So let me know. Until then, I will catch you later. Deuce.